You can move in this world like the wind. Who can prosecute the wind? You really are that already, you know. The only thing that seems to obscure or obstruct that is this persistence of the identity that I am this flesh and blood, mud and water, and that I am the doer of my life, the thinker of my thoughts, the doer of my actions. And that, unquestioned, is promoting continuing delusion like this. And I don't blame anybody for not inquiring, because there's nobody there to really inquire independent of consciousness. It is consciousness that must stir itself into sufficient fascination for inquiring into itself.
In truth, it's our awakening which is our greatest contribution to humanity. Our greatest contribution to humanity is to literally leave the state of consciousness that the mass of humanity is in, to leave it in order to discover the truth of our being, the truth of all beings. And when we do, we come back, as it were, as a gift, as a newborn, as literally, in a certain sense, reborn. In the Christian tradition, there is the story of Christ is transfiguration, literally a transformation, not only a realization, but a transformation. And that transformation itself, that's transfiguration itself, that new birth, literally on the unmanifest level of being, has an incredible impact. Sometimes through trying to help on the exterior level, we can miss that the greatest help we can offer is our own awakening. This doesn't mean that we avoid doing what we can on the exterior, lending a hand, lending help, feeding the hungry, caring for the poor and the sick. This doesn't mean that any of that's avoided or not useful, but ultimately, what we come to realize is our greatest contribution is to heal the illusory divisions within ourselves. That's the ultimate gift we have to humanity. That's what's going to change humanity.
I said, well, who is saying I can't remember? What's it to do with remembering and forgetting, you see? You're buying this idea that you need to remember this. And I'm asking, who needs to remember this? Someone gave you the name. You didn't have it before. Someone gave you a name that you didn't have it before. Their intention was that you would catch hold of the name. So you were there before the name came or registered. And so the name got registered in you. And once it got registered in you, then you never forgot it. Nor did you even remember it. It just was there. That's amazing. This is a phenomenon that was whispered into the consciousness when it was in infancy in this body. And at a certain point, within 2 or 3 years, it never forgot this imprint of this name. It was circumcised with the name. And it never forgot the name. 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years later, it's not forgetting the name. And this name is not original to you. You could have been called any other thing. They could have called you Potato Head. You would not forget you are Potato Head. I'm not Orange Skin. You would have remembered something like this. How amazing that this type of fierce loyalty exists for a name that doesn't come with the body. And you made no effort to remember it. And now you're thinking you have to make an effort to remember the consciousness, which itself was there before the name, and it's it that is remembering the name. So if it doesn't forget the name, which is not original, how can it forget itself, which was before the name came? So this is a complete fallacy. It's a complete fraud. It's not true that you have to remember who you are. It's not true that you have to remember who you are, nor did you forget who you are. But it was believed. And because it was believed into existence. And then it became a challenge. A challenge which did not exist before. You were there. I don't think in the animal kingdom a lion has so many cubs. I don't think she gives them names. I don't think so, she gives them names. But I don't know these things. I don't think a cat has many kittens or a dog has many puppies and it gives this name. You are George, you are Harry, you are Susan. I don't think it gives them any names. And yet each of them still has the uniqueness without the name. They only have the sense of the I. It's not I am George. I don't think a cat will say I am George somewhere in its consciousness. But human beings have a unique relationship in consciousness. Somehow we have individuate the consciousness. And so it became, in its expressing through the form, it called itself a name. It's like one reservoir. You open any tap in any household, in the bathroom, kitchen, or wherever it is. Some people in rich houses have golden taps. Some have bamboo taps, copper taps, rubber taps they open. But the water is the same. The water is the same. Now you may call this tap, the tap of Venice, or this one is the tap of paradise. But they're just names. The water is the same one that's coming out of it, no? What is the name of this water? You're not naming the water, you're naming just the tap. The body, you're calling the body. I am John. You want to taste my water is better than your water. But it's the same water, isn't it? What to do with this knowledge? Nothing. Just you imbibe this knowledge, understand this. Because all of this is about you. All of these are mirrors that is reflecting to you your own, being. The origin, your original being. And drown yourself in that contemplation, that knowledge, that self-knowledge.